Hello everyone and welcome back to Dragalia Foundry, a fan channel where everything Dragalia Lost can be found. This video is going to contain my first ever solo clear of Legend Tartarus. This fight has been out for probably about a month at this point, but I'm finally able to get a first clear for the first time, so I wanted to share that with y'all. I've been working on this for over a week now. I wanted to try post this video last week, and that's why there was no video over the weekend, because ultimately I wasn't able to clear in time before reset and decided to just do Ayaha and Tatoha instead, since I knew I could safely complete that. So I started experimenting with this, trying to learn the battle a little bit. Have not watched any outside resources, but it did take me so many tries to be able to finally clear it that I feel like I got a little bit of a sense of the mechanics, although definitely not optimal, as it still took me 8 minutes to get this first clear. So you can see here, one of the first new mechanics that you have at the Legend difficulty is this dimensional field, and then a countdown of mortal chasers on each character. If you're in that dimensional field, you'll be safe, but if you're not, it seems like these mortal chasers pretty much one-shot. I have not been able to shield them, I have not been able to stop the damage from them outside of being a dragon or being in that little dimensional shield, so those are much more powerful. A second change seems to be that in these little rooms, the Tartarus shadow clones all have their own unique mechanics and playstyle, so to speak. So in addition to different afflictions, they also do different things within the portal itself. Can't quite figure out exactly why that is or how to deal with each of them in particular, but definitely noticed some things that caused me to fail some of my runs in previous attempts. So anyway, I ended up going through that portal. I've done the first phase before where I do enough damage that I don't even have to go into the portal, and I can skip that, save some time. A major concern for me here was having timed out multiple times, just not timing out. My first team that I attempted this a lot with, instead of Gala Yuden, I actually had Radiant Xuan Song, and the reason is I'm just kind of tired of Gala Yuden. He's seen so much use in a lot of endgame content that I wanted to try to use a different team, and I had a new Gala adventure here, Gala Odric, that I wanted to play with. So that's kind of why I'm trying to pilot him, get a little bit more experience with him, but ultimately switched to Gala Yuden just because the Berserk phase on this was pretty hard for me. And I think that that's a positive with this fight. I feel like it's one of the more challenging Berserk phases, despite the fact that unlike, let's say, Volk, you don't have as many of the untelegraphed mechanics, but it was still pretty challenging. There's a lot going on. Those mortal chasers are brutal. And there's a really interesting addition to the punishment arrows that I'll talk about when we get to that part of the fight. Anyway, we're going through the first phase here when Tartarus has transformed. I know he's going to do this dimensional field, and I place everybody in there except for Gala Odric. For whatever reason, I've just found that with this particular clone, it seems like Odric is the best person to actually take on this clone. So I don't know why it is that he does this well. I accidentally got hit there, so that was not good. And I'm kind of torn here. I don't want to break because all of my party is in that portal over there, or in that field, so I don't really want to break, but I still want to build some SP. And then once I see this ticking down, I go in here, he starts punishment waves. This one seems to just be super tanky. I think maybe it has defense buffs. I can see them at the top, and I can see the dispel happening, but sometimes, like there, I didn't even get off a dispel, and you still see the buff at the top, so I don't know if that's maybe just me not understanding Gala Odric's mechanics, or if that buff icon is actually applied to the real Tartarus. But anyway, Gala Odric seemed to be my only adventure that could consistently take down that one. So I do that, I leave there, and now it's break time. Decide to go for Dragon Transformation. Really solid damage numbers here. It feels so weird coming from the Sinister Dominion Curse of Nihility world to remember that I can actually take advantage of regular types of buffs. And then I think we're going to get another phase of punishment waves, which another thing I tried even before this on my team was instead of Xuan Song, I had Rizarda. The reason Rizarda ended up not working for me is actually the next portal. Apparently you need a Force Strike to get through that, and even though I had Rizarda with Poison Res, I could not Force Strike my way through that, so I decided I better switch to a character that just has native Poison Res and a Force Strike built in. However, she was quite good at the punishment waves because she doesn't get knockback, and so I hadn't even noticed how often it actually hit me just because I wasn't really getting buffeted by it and I could use my attacks unimpeded. Anyway, another dimensional field which I'm mostly concerned from a time management standpoint. Now instead of Swan Song or Rosard, I have Yuden here, who I'm thinking will do well with this force field because of his force strike. This is my first time that I got this far with Yuden in my team, so I was struggling a little bit just with my tapping mechanics, which is kind of funny. It's just been a while since I've had to spam the sword force strikes. You see me there kind of stalling out a little bit, but I have plenty of HP to tank through this Shadow Clone. So I'm gonna force strike it again, and I think this should be the round that it gets defeated, hopefully, since it didn't have too much HP left. Very close to the Berserk phase, but I found you actually do need to go into that portal, or at least I did, because in the Berserk phase, Tartarus' attacks will still cancel your dragon and deplete your dragon gauge unless you've gone through that portal. That's the purpose of that one. The purpose of the previous one was to dispel Tartarus. So we get to Berserk, and now I'm deciding to play as Yuden because I want to just spam force strikes. But as you can see, there's a lot of danger here. This Chaotic Nebula, Peony was in real trouble. Luckily, Hildegard's just a fantastic healer. It feels like she's really earning her keep on the team here. And even though I'm able to get in a good amount of force strikes, I also have to kind of retreat to not get nebulaed. And this is particularly dangerous as far as like characters that don't have dual afflictions. They can get poisoned. I think Hildegard might be poisoned in this case. But I do have a pretty nice payload for break here. Probably did those in the wrong order. Definitely did. But I'm trying to conserve my dragons because the thing that most often had killed me in the Berserk phase was primarily the Mortal Chaser that would happen here. It just felt like it was difficult to get into the dimensional field because Tartarus will pull out a lot of purple attacks like this one or dashes, and it just never feels like there's a safe time to really move in there. So I decide, let me just go for the break, but since I have those purple orbs on me, I know that a Mortal Chaser is still going to happen. So let me get away from my teammates, become a dragon. I wasn't able to time my skill to tank the Chaser, but luckily it didn't kill me through dragon form and got off some decent damage there. That purple dash has also definitely killed me in the Berserk phase. So now I'm back to trying to just break Tartarus, and here we get the other interesting addition to punishment waves. In Berserk, these cause bleed, which is just savage in a way that I really like. This is one reason why I transformed into Daikokuten. Might have been able to use Daikokuten more offensively throughout the fight, like during breaks and stuff, but just wanted to absorb with Daikokuten's body some of that bleed damage if possible, and felt really good about my chances at this point. Even though I had gotten to the end before, this amount of HP I had never seen Tartarus with this much left with like 2 minutes left in the fight. I was always getting to this point with like 10 seconds left because with just Audric as my only overdrive shredder, it was pretty bad as far as getting multiple breaks in the Berserk phase, which also made it harder. I thought I would be able to finish with that hammer attack, and it seems like I just about got it, a little bit off in terms of my timing. But yeah, that was my first clear of Legend Tartarus. Pretty interesting fight with all the dragon transformation mechanics. Does feel a little bit more micromanagey, so to speak, so it kind of reminds me of Legend Ciel in that respect, where AI are a genuine liability. Like, I felt like I really had to deposit my AI into the dimensional field in order to be safe. I'm sure there are probably speedrun strats out there. I know y'all are probably in the comments like, I beat this in 2 minutes, every time, every week, but I don't know about any of that yet, so for me this was a very exciting clear, despite how long it took. I'd be curious about what y'all have done, if you have cleared this, to like kind of get it faster, but when I thought about it, I know play skill is a big factor, but just in terms of like the sheer stuff that it took me to be able to clear this. Oops, that's the castle. Let's go to the teams here. Look at this. I mean, it's 2 Gala Adventurers, all these 6-star weapons maxed out, the extra Wormprint slots from Lilith. I also have 2 Gala Dragons. I have Thor and Jeanne d'Arc. I also have Peony, who's a collab adventure. I have a New Year's Dragon, Daikokuten. Like, this is pretty stacked as far as the team, and although I think my play and strategy could definitely stand to be improved and probably improve my clear time, it does concern me a little bit just like if it's taking me 8 minutes to clear this content with all of these pieces that a lot of players don't have, what's this experience like if you don't have a lot of these characters, dragons, etc.? So that is one thing I have been thinking about lately with the endgame content. It's like a lot of times these legend fights take quite a while. Now granted, of course, they are more for cosmetics, just to unlock weapon skins and a very small stat bonus with the 9th Unbind on the 6-star weapons. But this Tartarus battle is definitely going to be a slow burn for me, as now, at this point, with a few clears left for Ayaha and the Toha, and the other legends done, I'm basically just going to do this Tartarus once a week and try clear that way. Do need to still do co-op for Ayaha and the Toha and Tartarus Legend both. Gonna have to find some time to get around to that. For now, let's put on our Elemental Shroud Breaker epithet. That's for clearing all the Legend Agito in solo. And you know what? Let's just switch over to Twilight Shroud Breaker, because I think that's a very cool named epithet. That is going to do it for today though, everyone. Let me know what your experience has been like with this fight in the comments below. Thank you as always for watching, take care, and I'll see you next time.